Wheelchair Tennis South Africa started in about just before 2005. Started with a very generous contribution from Airports Company South Africa, where they donated some chairs to the program. And from there, we haven't looked back. We've grown from a handful of people all the way through to sort of our peak when Airports Company South Africa was our game sponsor, to around 50 centres. We're now sitting in around 35 centres. So really started from a handful of very passionate people to probably one of the best programs in the world. I think it's one of the most celebrated programs in the world and in South Africa. We're considered by the International Tennis Federation as one of the biggest success stories because we grew from a handful of people to around 500 players who are playing the sport on a weekly basis. But it's not only about the number that we're playing. We've, in a short space of time, we've managed to get players who are ranked in the top 10 players in the world, in both the men's, women's, quads, and in the junior division, which is really not heard of from many of the other countries.
Yeah, I think we have centers around South Africa, mainly all provinces. And the good thing about the centers or the program that we're having is we also reach to rural areas. Like I can mention, Tzaneen, where it's very difficult to reach, and some sporting code they can't even get to those places, like your Thohoyandou in Venda, and it's the most disadvantaged people in those areas that doesn't have much like facilities, and we always make a plan in terms of how can we make use of what they have, like the smooth surface if they don't have a tennis court, just to roll the program on them.
Basically, all of our athletes come from these environments. I can honestly say when any of them come back, they always are more than happy to go to clinics, to go to camps, to help at the schools. So they all do their own part in giving back. So I really don't think there's anyone I'd like to single out, because somebody will be offended. But it is something that they feel passionate about, that they've seen what they've done, and they've all given back, from sort of KG, Lucas, Evans, and even the juniors who get the opportunity to travel, go back and help teach the other guys that they play with.
The main thing was that we're looking at Europe or other continents. They're very strong, but they're not strong because of they have a lot of players within their country. We're the second country that has got a lot of players, followed by Japan. And then in terms of development, we have a lot of players. But now you look at, as a player, you need to compete to know which level of a player you are. But because of we can only travel few players to Europe, then that's when we look at the rankings that we don't have that good players, because only few are participating in more tournament that is needed to have a good ranking. So the plan was, how about we visit the neighboring countries, for example, Botswana, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and then we introduce wheelchair tennis in those countries. Then we will have tournaments in all those countries. Then it will be easier for me to go and play a tournament in Botswana, easier for me to go to Mozambique. Cost effective, it will be cheaper to do that, and we will accumulate ranking because we'll be playing more tournaments than just playing the 6 tournaments that we used to have in South Africa. And then that's how we'll grow and then become, bigger country than we are.
Like these, go to www.social-tv.co.za, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on our social mediums.